A warm yet wonderful Cinco de Mayo Monday afternoon to all. I am William Theo and this is PTV News Now. Starting our afternoon stories for this first day of the week. The Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency or PDEA is on a tear their latest haul. 176.4 million pesos in illegal drugs seized over the weekend. Government's lead anti-narcotics group said in a statement released earlier today, it seized illegal drugs worth 176.4 million pesos and nabbed 101 pushers and illegal drug traffickers in 62 operations conducted nationwide. Among the narcotics seized in raids and sting operations by PDEA agents and operatives from April 25 to May 2nd include over 12,000 grams of meth or shabu, 260 tablets of ecstasy, over 72,000 grams of marijuana kush, 14,000 plus grams of dried marijuana leaves, among others. The region's PDEA agents and operatives hit over the weekend were the NCR, Centro Visayas, the Caraga, Soxargen, and the Cordilleras. Don't look now, but American-made films shot outside the United States may significantly drop and lead to higher ticket prices at the movie theaters. Quote, as Donald Trump over the weekend ordered slapping 100% tariff on all foreign films shot and put together outside the United States, in particular, feature films independently produced or studio financed, shot on location outside the U.S. This latest White House directive was issued on Trump's unfounded worry of Hollywood being devastated by what he perceives as relentless trend of producers and Hollywood studios shooting movies remotely away from the U.S. In addition, a huge factor in Trump's latest decision on film tariffs was triggered by Chinese President Xi Jinping's statement last month of Beijing putting a cap or limiting the distribution of American movies to China. The movie industry, or Hollywood, generates over $250 billion in sales and provides close to 2.5 million jobs as per 2022 figures from the Motion Picture Association of America. But the massive and tremendous power of Hollywood movies to capture and influence people from all over the planet towards the American brand is incalculable and has cemented America's unequal dominance in the global entertainment industry and its status as the most powerful nation on the planet. Strangely, however, the top 5 locations for Hollywood feature film productions are outside the United States, namely Toronto, the UK, Vancouver in British Columbia, Central Europe, and Australia. California came in 6th place. The bottom line, all the offshore locations plus many more in Asia offer more incentives that all told makes it cheaper for studios and independent producers to make movies. The Trump 2.0 presidency is all about reshaping the bureaucracy and restructuring the federal government. Among his top priorities, abandoning the shift to renewable energy and instead heightening production of coal, oil and gas, drill, baby drill, as he'd love to say. VOA's Patsy Widakuswara takes a look at the challenges facing this policy shift on energy.
Countering climate change was central to former President Joe Biden's administration. But under President Donald Trump, the United States is going in a different direction.
Today, I will also declare a national energy emergency. We will drill, baby, drill.
When a president declares a national emergency, he has more executive authority to get things done, including deregulating industries to drill for oil and gas. On Friday, Trump added a geopolitical factor by saying that lowering oil prices is the key to ending the war in Ukraine.
OPEC ought to get on the ball and they ought to drop the price of oil, and that war will stop right away.
Analysts are skeptical that Trump's demands and policies will significantly impact oil prices.
You have to think about things like oil supply being driven by international, demand and other things that are going to be quite separate from a lot of the different kinds of policies that President Trump may be thinking of that could, around the margins, affect oil and gas exploration and extraction.
Analysts say low prices would also hurt Trump donors, the American fossil fuel industry. Renewable energy advocates point out that U.S. oil and gas is already at peak production.
And so if this is an emergency, why aren't we looking at all available resources, particularly the ones that are demonstrating real value on the grid, right? Why aren't we using all tools in the toolbox?
Trump, who has repeatedly called climate change a hoax, wants to slam the brakes on efforts to boost U.S. electric vehicles by rolling back tax credits for EV purchases and manufacturing that Congress passed during Biden's term.
We will revoke the electric vehicle mandate, saving our auto industry and keeping my sacred pledge to our great American auto workers.
But he will need congressional approval for such a move. Analysts say it's counterproductive to Trump's own stated goals of competing with China, who is already the world's largest producer of EVs.
It's a consensus among the academia that EV is the way to go. EV is the way to address our environmental concern. There's no turning back on the EV development.
Trump's Inauguration Day actions also included an order to withdraw the U.S. from international climate commitments.
The next item, sir, is a letter that will be transmitted to the United Nations explaining that we are withdrawing from the Paris Climate Treaty.
The U.S. is currently producing more oil and gas than any country at any time in history. Meanwhile, even as it keeps much of its fossil fuel production, China is the leading manufacturer of solar panels and wind turbines globally. It is also the planet's biggest climate polluter. Patsy Widakuswara, VOA News, Washington.
We've come to the end of this afternoon's program. Join us anew later on for our evening set of breaking stories. And always make it a habit to tune in here for news you can count on, news you can trust. Till then, William Theo here, and thank you for watching PTV News Now.